This is Ashley with Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 anime characters who returned badass. For this list, we're going to be looking over the characters who took a sabbatical, beefed up, and returned as undeniable beasts. Think we missed out on any savage contenders? Let us know in the comments. And as always, you can catch me on Twitter at AshJBo, so head over there, give me a follow, and let me know which anime list you want to see next. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below. Number 20, Auntie, SSSS Dyna Xenon. Back when he was going through his emo phase in Gridman, this kaiju was an obsessive, reserved, but also forgettable side piece who slowly came to warm up to Utah. Making the transition to the home team and basically becoming a Gridman fanboy, we didn't think he'd be making any kind of grandiose return. And then he strutted up in Dyna Xenon, now calling himself Knight, and finally started living up to his potential. Only thing sharper than his sword is his suit. Kaiju puberty did him justice. Number 19, Mom, Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai. With her technical know-how and magical gun, this disciple of Avan was very much relegated to the sidelines, serving as the emotional backbone to keep Dai and Pop in check. Lovable, fun, but not exactly someone you would define as a badass. Then she learned martial arts. In a shocking departure, Mom ditched her firearm for her fists, and in doing so became quite possibly one of the strongest fighters this magical world has ever known. It's an unexpected yet wholly welcome change that made it crystal clear that she was way too good for Pop. Number 18, Jeremiah Gottwald, Code Geass Lelouch the Rebellion. Zero may dominate as the ultimate anti-hero, but you can't forget about his superb supporting cast. Least of all, a certain Agent Orange. Early on in his career, Jeremiah was nothing more than a Britannian puppet, one to be made a fool of time and time again by the likes of Lelouch. That is until the truth was revealed to him about just how messed up his home nation really was. After some self-reflection, some cyber enhancements, and getting fitted with a bitching new mask, Jeremiah made the swift transition to top-tier status. Number 17, Sachio, Megalobox 2 Nomad. Adolescence can be brutal. As a kid, Sachio was 1/3 of Team Nowhere and helped support Joe towards his goal of becoming champion of Megalonia. Then Coach Nanbu bit the dust, causing their whole group to fracture. Embittered by Joe's decision to leave in the face of their shared tragedy, Sachio grew colder, eventually falling into bad habits as he took up underground Megalo boxing to support his fellow orphans. It may not be healthy from a mental standpoint, but there's no denying he bulked up into quite the fighter. Number 16, Tokugawa Ieyasu, Sengoku Basara The Last Party.
Lord Shingen, please forgive me, but the future will be forged with these hands.
Let's be honest here, out of all the crazy warlords that tore up the landscape during the anime's action-packed run, nobody gave a damn about Ieyasu. I mean, why would they? He was hardly a relevant character, one who seemed to meet his end at the hands of Mitsuhide. At least until the movie sequel came out, wherein he somehow came back from the dead and managed to share the stage with both Masamune and Yukimura.
Sorry I haven't kept in better touch.
How you've grown since last we met.
Hell, he even managed to hold his own against Nobunaga in the final standoff. That is progress.
I wish you eternal bliss.
When I am gone, I have faith that others will forge their own bonds.
Number 15, Musica, Rave Master. It's not hard to see why this guy was less than memorable. After all, he was basically a template for Mashima's future badasses, who barely shone in his own introduction. Even though he was able to create weapons out of silver, Musica didn't exactly step up to the plate with all this petty thievery.
奴ら、俺が銀術を操るってこと知らねえみてえだな。
At least until he decided to cut and color his hair.
久しぶりだな、ある。ムジカ!
This sudden makeover seemed to bring out Musica's inner warrior, since he went on to become the bad boy of the group soon after. Guess Proto-Grey Fullbuster isn't so bad after all. Number 14, Tala Volkov, Beyblade G-Revolution.
Go ahead! Make your move! It'll be your last! Oh yeah?
When we last saw this guy, he was presented as so icy cold that he actually stepped right into the middle of edgelord territory. After all, his Beyblade launcher was a goddamn pistol, and he even turned himself into a cyborg at one point because, reasons. Thankfully, all that was pushed to the side during the series' final entry. Tala, now leading the Blitzkrieg Boys without Boris's intervention, finally found his voice. So with his new design and cocky attitude, he felt like a threat once again.
Come on, how long do you think you can keep running from me?
Granted, pretty much everyone looks more badass in G-Revolution, but it had been so long since we saw this Russian riot that we were all pretty enamored.
Now I've got you right where I want you. No way! Rogue!
Oh, Nelly, here we go again!
Number 13, Jack Hammer, Baki franchise. As a son of the world's deadliest fighter, Jack is no slouch when it comes to beating people to death. However, his reliance on steroids and other artificial means of strength left him in a bit of a predicament.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I was a little tied up. Now let's finish what we've started. It's time to end this, father.
Left as a shell of himself after losing to Baki, Jack rebuilt himself from the ground up, the results of which took him from sickly skeleton all the way to the bulkiest buffalo around. One swing from this juggernaut is enough to crush the bodies and dreams of any poor soul who dares to step up to him. Number 12, Shinpachi, Gintama.
あんたまだいたんですか？しかも一つで何本格的なクッキングに挑戦してんの？
Forever the voice of reason when Gintoki and the rest managed to pull one of their usual stunts, you could rely on Shinpachi to serve as the classic straight man. Still, outside of that one time he turned into Kenshiro, he was ways off from becoming a badass swordsman. At least until the time skip after the defeat of Utsuro, in which he appeared with a badass new wardrobe very reminiscent of Gintoki.
ギャーギャーギャーギャー静かにしてもらえませんか発情期ですか
Don't get us wrong, he still got his backside handed to him, but it was clear the wimp from before had left the building.
いい店になりましたね店長
Number 11, Alice, Sword Art Online Alicization. With her status as an Integrity Knight, Alice's crusade to enforce the Axion Church's will left her as a delusional stand-in for Asuna throughout the majority of Aliceization's early arc. Then the war for Underworld kicked off, and she finally came into her own. Losing an eye in exchange for freeing herself from her corrupt order, Alice not only became Kirito's protector, but one of the most essential characters in the whole SAO verse, with her courage only matched by her destructive capabilities. Wait to take the mantle of best girl. Number 10, Toshiro Hitsugaya. Bleach.
My captain! Now you're done, Gin Ichimaru.
Yeah, everyone loves Hitsugaya. The boy prodigy with the sexy lieutenant who flies into a battle with an ice dragon on his back. Don't get us wrong, he had some legitimately awesome moments in the battle against the Espada, but it wasn't until he returned to help Ichigo against the Forbringers that we finally see how far he had come since we first saw him back in Soul Society. Granted, that was mostly due to his bitchin' new hairstyle, but there was also... yeah, it was totally due to his bitchin' new hairstyle.
The deal is I won't freeze your arms and your head. If you shut off your power in the next 5 minutes, I won't kill you.
Number 9, Veldora. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. Basically a walking deterrent, Veldora the Storm Dragon was hailed as the most powerful monster in the land, though his intimidation factor was dramatically lessened due to being stuck in a cave for centuries on end. At least until Rimuru came along and decided to undo his shackles. Granting him a second chance at life, as well as a second body, Veldora's return heralded yet another OP addition to Rimuru's crew. Being downgraded from a dragon might sound rough, but Veldora's new beach body and laid-back attitude fits him way better. And it's not like he's lost any of his killer edge. Number 8, Dio Brando. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stardust Crusaders. Back when he was tussling with Jonathan Joestar in Ye Olde Merry England, the future lord of memes went from a despicable brat to a wannabe vampire, and to his credit managed to make the most of it by unleashing his hordes across the land. Of course, this was nothing when compared to his revival as a stand user. Not only did he look the part, but he also had the authority to go with it. You felt his menace as each of his servants gave their life for his cause, not to mention the fact he could now freeze time and give Jotaro freaking Kujo a run for his money in the awesomeness department.
Jotaro! 貴様のパワーがどの程度のものかとくと拝見してやろうザ・ワールド止まれい時よ
Number 7, Asumu Asano. Mobile Suit Gundam Age.
それを選んだら俺はどうなるって言うんだ
お前のままでいられる
Speaking of next generations, when we were first introduced to the son of prior protagonist Flit, he was just a carefree lad.
分かってるけど
Cut to a few years later, and now he's a goddamn space pirate.
やっと会えたなキヨ力を見せてみろこの父に
Inheriting the determination of his father, while also standing as much more of a flawed character, Asumu, we mean Captain Ash, quickly became a highlight of the final arc, especially since his Gundam Age 2 got a badass new coat of paint. Sorry Kyo, but there's no way you're gonna outshine your puppy. Number 6, Android 17, Dragon Ball Super. Appearance-wise, he may look like the same heartless machine that caused countless deaths in both the present and the future, but this version of 17 is a tad more mature than his murderous past self. While you might think that would knock some points off, the redeemed android proved that walking down the path of the family man not only made him a better person, but also infinitely more interesting. No longer just your basic Terminator, Super gave us a 17 who not only spent his time protecting wildlife from poachers, but also as the MVP of the Tournament of Power. Number 5, Kurapika, Hunter x Hunter. Let's be honest here, while the Scarlet Eyes trick was pretty cool, this hunter still wasn't exactly on the same level as the likes of Hisoka or Killua, at least until he came back with those chains. After getting some much-needed training off-screen, Kurapika returned and was finally able to get his vengeance on a member of the Phantom Troop, all thanks to his new weapon of choice. Able to conjure up chains with a multitude of killing traits, the moment we found out Kurapika had become a specialist purely to exterminate the spider, he jumped up several spots in our books. Number 4, Natsu, Fairy Tail. We won't pretend that the salamander wasn't a powerhouse to begin with. After all, he managed to burn right through rival wizards, demons, and everything else under the sun. That being said, he still managed to top it all when he made his grand return after a couple of years of intense training, complete with a rather fitting mullet. Throw in the fact he set a princess's castle on fire simply as a way to announce his plan to get the gang back together, Natsu showed that time had only made his stones bigger. Number 3, Eren Yeager, Attack on Titan. While he certainly had his fair share of awesome moments across his run as a member of the Survey Corps, Eren's more childish traits, an inability to overshadow the likes of Mikasa and Levi, often left his badassery status in question. At least until the final season, in which his character arc took a one-way trip towards godhood. Not only did he wage a one-man war against Marley, but did so with cold efficiency and awareness that suddenly painted him as the man who had all the answers. Number 2, Naruto, Naruto Shippuden.
So, what do you think? Do I seem more like a woman to you now?
You kidding? Not really. You haven't changed at all.
Maturity and Naruto don't tend to go hand in hand. While his chihuahua-like personality was always part of his charm, it was still refreshing to see how the Jinchuriki had found a way to evolve as a character after training at the Land of the Frogs. Arriving just in the nick of time during Pain's assault on Konoha, Naruto dons a badass new coat very reminiscent of his father's. With his new Sage mode in tow, Naruto manages to quickly take down most of the paths of pain. He may still be knuckleheaded, but at least he stepped up his game in this dramatic moment.
The one I seek
is me!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Usopp, One Piece.
It's go time, brave brave Usopp pirates! We do have a village to protect!
We're still struggling to come to grips that the long-nosed marksman actually managed to pull such an incredible 180. Sure, all the members of the Straw Hat crew got a boost during those 2 years they spent powering up, but this is Usopp we're talking about. He's hilarious, but he ain't no Zoro. At least until we saw him casually make his reappearance, buffed up beyond belief, and armed to the teeth with a crazy amount of nature-based weaponry.
Sets! Midoribash!
This turnaround is such a miracle that it's only fitting that Usopp ended up earning the moniker of God down the line. So do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now, be sure to check out the music video for it right here.